Hey everybody, I'm back. This is Carrie Green. We're down at Irene's and we're talking to some women-owned businesses down here, and I'm really excited. We have a couple of really great women. Today we have Ariel and her beautiful daughter, and we're going to be talking to her a little bit about her services as a lender here in Kitsap County. So Ariel, tell me what you got going on.
So as a homebuyer education specialist, I teach webinars every other weekend, and they're sponsored by the Housing Commission, Washington State Housing Finance. Attendees receive a certificate of completion, which gives them access to down payment assistance.
Very cool. So with all that being said, your favorite people to work with, are those your target clients most of the time as first-time home buyers?
I would say so. However, even if you've bought a home before or maybe bought several homes, education is still really important because things are always changing, and you can actually use down payment assistance even if you're already a homeowner. So
wow.
If you want to convert your current primary residence to a rental and go buy a different primary, you can use down payment assistance for that.
So that's news to me. I've never heard that before. So, I mean, I've done second homes and all that, but I've never heard that from a lender before. So also, you had talked about being plugged into some local. Tell me a story about understanding the local programs that are available where maybe they didn't know before.
Yeah, so I got to help a single mom purchase her first home a couple months ago. She was able to use a program that nobody really knows about through Kitsap Community Resources. Now, they are currently working on replenishing their funding, but they're planning to bring it back online in the fall. She was able to use over $55,000 in down payment assistance by stacking that Kitsap Community Resources program with a different program through the Housing Commission. Had she worked with another lender, she may not have had access to the schools, simply because you just don't know about it unless you're connected with the right people.
Right, and you don't know what you don't know. So the other question is, are the qualifications for that significantly different than a traditional mortgage?
There are income qualification requirements based on household. So we look at the number of people in the household and location they're purchasing in, and that will tell us whether or not they qualify.
Very cool. So it's not super hard to qualify for this.
Not super hard. It's really on a needs basis.
Okay. Well, and that's super helpful too, because with rents being what they are here in Kitsap County, I feel like most people should be buying if they have the credit score and they can possibly afford it. How do we get the loans to people who are ready to go, but maybe don't have the higher income level that is typically needed to be sustainable in Kitsap? So that's really exciting. So over the last year or so, what has been your greatest, maybe your greatest story, your greatest success story in getting someone qualified for a home?
Well, I have someone who is purchasing a home right now, and it is just going to be one for the books. They really wanted to buy a home that has been in their family for a long time, and they had applied for tribal funds through the Squamish tribe. Squamish is currently used up. Their funding is used up for the year, so we had to kind of see if there was another way to get them qualified and really keep their mortgage payment affordable. We were able to plug into the Covenant program in lieu of the tribal funds, and we accessed the same amount of down payment assistance they would have gotten had the tribe been able to do their loan. So really excited for them. They're going to be closing for the end of the month and keeping the home in their family.
Oh, that's so good. And those are the success stories that I like to hear. My lenders, typically that I work with, they will go above and beyond to get you where you need to go. And I can count on the lenders that I recommend that if they give me a pre-approval, they're going to get it done unless there's some earth-shattering thing that makes it stop. I've worked with other lenders that I got clear past the inspection point, and oops, we didn't verify everything, and you qualify for $30,000 to $50,000 less. It doesn't have to be that way, and getting your team together to be able to be successful is key before you ever open your first door. So I'm really excited that Ariel is a part of that, and she's one of my go-tos. So I'm looking forward to seeing us work together in the future and putting our stamp on more success stories.
Likewise. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you for coming in. We're here with Frankie Delossantos, and she is a financial coach here in the Kitsap area. She's got so many things going on. So I'm going to let you tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually a financial strategist by trade. Um, typically people talk about financial advisors. The main difference with me is that an advisor basically limits your lifestyle based on your budget. And so I do the opposite, actually. I give you ways to increase your budget to be able to live the lifestyle that you want. So not only is that going through your budget, helping you with investments and savings, but I also coach you on business ownership, self-employment, and other ways, other streams of income.
Very cool. And you've been working with kids.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Teenagers, yes. So teenagers from 9th to 12th grade. I teach them about business and also financial literacy. So I have a bunch of mentorship programs where not only do we do simulations on, different businesses that they can open or different self-employment opportunities, but they also learn what to do with the money after they earn it. So we have different programs with youth organizations like sports teams, AAU sports teams, but also the Bremerton High School district. They have their kids coming over for the summer to be doing some events with us. So 9th to 12th graders all over the county, they'll come to my office and we'll just have different projects and different workshops to do. But we have some talented teenagers in our community, very special, talented teenagers.
We absolutely do. And I'm so glad that you're investing in them, right? And all the things that we've heard, just an outcry of how to adult, right? So we know all the things, but now what is adulting 101, right?
Absolutely.
And responsibility with money is taught. It's not just a math equation. It's a balance of resources against what is needed and what is wanted. And I just really feel like we're missing out on that. So you bring that to the table. So as far as what we do, I'm a real estate agent. Ariel is a lender, right? So how do you feel like, what is your best strategy to be able to plug in to help people get ready for a mortgage? If somebody comes to you and they have credit issues or they're having trouble saving, Ariel has the programs, but where do you come in to be able to kind of help bring all of that together to work with the lender and the client to get them where they want to go?
Absolutely. So typically my clients will see me before they go to a mortgage professional or a real estate professional, only because they want to make sure that they're in a good place with their finances. Not only can I afford the house, but can I keep the house is now a big concern. And so kind of coming over to me, seeing where their credit is at, seeing what their budget looks like forecasted for the next years. Because we want to make sure that they have enough in their budget that if property taxes go up or something breaks in their home, a new roof, they're not going to be in a situation where they have to go borrow money at a high interest rate. So I love meeting with clients why they have the dream of becoming a homeowner, but then teaching them about what does interest mean, how to calculate it. What does budgeting look like? What are some things that they can do? We call them finance hacks, right? Some things that they can do in order to keep their expenses low. So I work with the mortgage professionals when they're like, okay, I want to buy a house next year. And it's great because we can come up with a plan together that I can make sure that whatever the mortgage professional needs for them to get in their finances, I can also help keep them accountable. So instead of working with one professional here, one professional there, our clients feel like they have a team that really supports them.
Absolutely. And I have worked with people for up to like 5 years, right? We started out over here, we had the income, but we didn't have the credit. And I was that accountability piece, right? How's it going? But I don't have the authority. I'm the real estate person. So there's always this idea that I just want them to get their credit together so that they can pay me. And that's not what I'm about, right? So it's really great to be able to hand that piece off to someone. And then I can just check in, right? I can keep the dream alive kind of thing and stay in my lane. And not that I gave financial advice, but I was that accountability piece.
Right.
And it really, I think is going to be powerful to be able to bring in someone who isn't charging an arm and a leg for people who are having some financial, not difficulties, but there are programs for people who don't necessarily have the income that it takes to live in and purchase. But rents are so high, they're just as difficult to get into. And so bringing in this piece, it takes that pressure off of, well, you just want me to hurry up, so whatever. And I don't. I'm a representative. I'm not a salesperson. That's how I live my life. but bringing you in as that other piece to really give the details, to really give the nuts and bolts of how to make that happen, instead of, I don't know, spend less. Like that's not my job, right? So I think that's going to be really powerful to bring you into that and be able to funnel people through to you so that you can help them get where we can talk to Ariel, right?
Yes.
So if Ariel's looking at this, it would be great if that client came back to you and said, well, they said this and this and this. You know, you can help get those strategies down so that they get where they need to go quicker, also without feeling like they have to eat rice and beans.
Right.
I mean, for those of us who find ourselves to be uber responsible, right? When I want to cut my budget, the first thing that happens is I want to eat top ramen for 6 months. Well, that's not sustainable, right? It's not sustainable to go so far down in your amenities or whatever that you're not able to watch TV, you're not able to eat more than rice and beans, you're going to the food bank simply because you're trying to save for housing.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be powerful to bring that piece in and not to have to tell people you have to come up with $300 extra a month to pay a financial.
Right.
So
the big thing is when we're looking at home ownership is being able to have a lot of discretionary income at the end of the month that they can feel like, okay, well, I have this just in case. And, you know, a lot of times we're like, okay, what is the typical answer? Well, we should shop for a home that is less. But in Kitsap County, it is very hard to shop for a home that meets all of your qualifications. That's a lot less, or what your budget
and livable,
Yeah.
right? So it also has to be financeable.
Absolutely.
I'm willing to put in the work, but if you're a lender, right, now there's risks that a lender has those qualifications. So while you're willing to do the grunt work, you don't have the cash for that power.
And one of the things that is typically like an answer for a lot of people's problems is more income. So there are so many self-employment opportunities, business opportunities that people don't really think about. They have hobbies or they have ideas, but they don't have anybody to help them really put that vision to a plan. And so part of talking about your finances is not only working with what you have, but what do I not know and what is out there that can help me kind of attain that. So I think that's where we come with a different perspective on finance and financial literacy and education for ourselves, is not just managing what we have, but what can we add to it to be able to have more of a budget, right? More of an income. You can't really cut down what you want. And I feel sad when people, you know, shrink their dreams to fit their budget, but there's so many things out there that we can do that we totally assume that we have to, like down payments, right? Like, oh, I can only afford a $20,000 down payment, but they don't know the resources that the county has, where the county is willing to give you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on top of what you have. Right. So it's just kind of connecting with a lot of the business owners here in Kitsap, a lot of the county programs that are available, and then talking to our clients and teaching our clients about that. And that's something that Ariel does also.
Yes.
Is she's very well connected in the community as well, and, you know, knows where the money is at.
Right.
And so by our clients coming to us and saying, hey, this is what I want, we can help connect them with those resources.
Right. And something that you said just now really resonated with me, with the idea that we have not changed our approach to finances since the 50s.
Yes.
Live within your means. Scale back. But the reality is the housing costs are so much here. You still need food. You should have access to the internet. You need to have a phone. Right? So these things are super expensive. And I think coming at it from a current perspective of, hey, yes, you're working a 40-hour-a-week job, but at the same time, there's this little bit of change you can make over here to invest a little bit of time to have something that's constantly making you money, and bringing that to the table, because we're for a lot of young people especially, we're beyond that space of, well, just scale back, right? I think that's where we're having children not be getting the nutrition that they need at home and all of those kinds of things, because we have to scale back. The truth is, it's not like that here. It's not available here anymore. So I'm really excited to hear you say, I've got different strategies.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to tell people to shrink their dreams or to live within their budget. I'm going to tell them, look, this is your budget today. How do we maximize that? But then over here, we can also do this.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming without adding another 40 hours worth of work
Right.
to their, you know what I mean? Because that is impossible when you have a family and kids and all of those
Yeah.
things.
passive income is some of the things that I love teaching people, because that's something that people think only passive income is for people that already have money, right? But passive income, just like anything, is starting from something small and then building that up through time consistency. And passive income is available for people with any budget. So different types of investments are available, different types of business opportunities are available. For instance, I just had a client the other day. They work 2 jobs already, but they're a couple that is like heavily in debt, and so they're looking at bankruptcy. And we're like, no, let's not do bankruptcy. Let's look at different methods where we can actually help scale these down. So actually, when we're looking at some opportunities for them, there is like an online store that they don't have to manage or anything like that, by basically looking at paying a virtual assistant and a marketing specialist. The money that they're going to be putting in to run that online store is actually going to make them more money than the money that they're putting in. And that is what the budget that they're going to use to help pay off their debt. So it's steps like that where people only look at, well, what is point A to point B? But sometimes you got to add point C and D also. That'll revert back to helping point A.
Right.
But nobody really wants to take that time, or they're kind of scared to take those approaches because they don't know if it's going to work or not.
Well, and I think too, you see so much of that on social media, right?
Mhm.
Well, you can, and it feels like Amway or you know, any other number of things. And if I do this, I'm going to fail. But having you be able to come in and say, look, I'm not selling any one product. I know how to get you from here to there with these extra strategies. And if you have questions, you give me a call, right? Without breaking the bank and then taking people who are heavily in debt and having to come up with another $300 to $500 to pay you to do the thing.
Right.
So it's really, I think it's really a powerful service. So I'm really excited to be connecting with Frankie, and she's got some events that she's got going on this summer that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But if you have questions or you're looking to have future goals, whether that's a business or a house or anything that you're looking for to kind of boost your future, Frankie's the lady to go to. So I'm really excited. You'll see us knocking around town. We're going to partner, and this is where we get to really affect the community that we're in for good. So I think the vision is the same, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.